some of the greatest feelings you've ever had? A time when you really felt alive? Other times that have been really tough in your life? Times where you've really wanted to have a friendship that really matters? These are great questions, and these questions are dealt with in RiskRIde. And RiskRIde is a story. It's a good story. But it's more than a story. It's a tool to get people talking and talking about what really matters. What is RiskRIde? Well, it's a comic, a graphic novel, or manga. Really, it's a tool to connect people, to care for people, and ultimately share Christ with people. Anybody can do it. It's really easy. Hey, you know, people are lonely, they're wounded, and they're discouraged. They're really looking to connect with other people. RiskRIde is a great tool to bridge that gap. It's used to open their hearts. They can find new purpose in life, new meaning. And it's as easy as reading a comic book. Anyone can do it. RiskRIde is about relationship. It's not about a strategy. We want people to feel respected, encouraged, challenged, and we want them to feel safe. Everyone has a wound in life. It's either something somebody did or didn't do for them, and a lot of times they take it through their whole life. Sometimes it's a lie, something that they repeat to themselves over and over and over again. We want to be a friend. We want to help people if they're discouraged, if they're considering harming themselves. We want to be a friend that will offer them help, and a friend can actually help save a life. You might be thinking, I don't know what to say or what to do. Don't worry about that. They read the manga, you ask the 7 questions, and as soon as you ask those questions, they're going to open up, things will start flowing. When you finish this orientation, you'll be ready to go. Let's take a minute and get familiar with the story.
The story is about 2 guys who've had rough lives and deep wounds, and they become buddies as motorcycle punks. But then Kenji puts on a necktie and decides he's going to try and make something of himself. However, he gets hit hard. One day, he gets axed at work. The same day, his girlfriend dumps him. And it brings back the memories of rejection as a boy when his father abandoned him. And Kenji hits the bottom. He decides to end his life. Meanwhile, his old buddy Sheen is like this. You gotta love him. This carefree dude. He's discovered how good life is. And Kenji heads out to commit suicide, and fortunately he bumps into Sheen, who forces him on this motorcycle trip. A trip that becomes a much deeper journey. And Sheen sort of messes with Kenji, asks him these 3 questions on the trip. Questions that transform his life, save him. At the end of the story, there's Kenji has this scar that he's had for as long as he can remember. It's sort of a visual of a deep hurt inside. And most people who read the story aren't going to notice it, but that scar, it vanishes. Now, when you share this manga, you're doing the same thing. You're inviting someone on a trip, on a journey, on a ride. And you're going to ask them 7 questions. And those 7 questions may very well completely change their life. Hey, I hope you enjoy taking a risk with the RiskRIde.
Let's look at the 7 questions. Grab your cue card, and there's 7 questions listed there. 1, what is the most memorable part of the story for you and why? 2, what do you like about the friendship of Kenji and Sheen? 3, why do you think Kenji wanted to die? Or did he really want to die? 4, the bell in the story can be seen as symbolic. What does it symbolize for you? 5, what change do you notice in Kenji at the end? 6, can you relate to any of Kenji's feelings? And 7, do you wish you had joy that would never go away? There's 2 important questions that are needed to be ready to do this presentation. Can you guess which ones those are? Well, if you guessed the last 2, you're right. Let's look at question 6. As people share hard things and hurts, remember, don't try to give advice or instruct them. Just listen. Validate their feelings. They just want someone to listen and really mean it. You know, you might want to say, boy, I bet that really hurt, or I'm sorry that happened. And in the course of conversation, if suicide comes up, remember to refer to the page on the website to get advice of what to do. And don't be scared. It's actually really good for them to talk about it and just to be able to refer them appropriately. So the last question relates to the gospel. If they answer yes, that they want more information, feel free to share the gospel story with them. And if you need to, use a tract. They're great tools. If they say no, well, take a moment and share a 1-minute story of a tough time in your life where Christ was there for you. And they shared from their heart. That means that you really need to share from your heart and be authentic with sharing your story. All right, let's take a few minutes and think and pray and write down a 1-minute testimony. The first thing you want to do is share a tough time in your life. For example, maybe you went through a time of divorce and you felt like you were really abandoned and you were lonely and by yourself. Maybe at that time God meant that He was a safe refuge and He was maybe a father or a mother figure that you never had, where God is so accepting or loving. Think about your own personal story and write that down. Then what we're going to do is we're going to practice the discussion questions, the crucial questions, the suicide referral, and sharing your own personal story. Now, take turns, pick a partner, and do a role play. And switch off and on, being the initiator of asking and telling. So how did it go? Not too hard, is it? Practice again, have fun. Just get this to be a natural conversation with a person. This tool has actually helped thousands of people worldwide. This tool is different in the fact that it's relational, it's story and feeling based. It's actually designed for relationships. And it's also state-of-the-art comics. You can't get better than that. Well, the time is now for you to get busy. Christ is doing amazing things through this, and we get to be part of that. So have fun, go off, and do amazing things.